In this video, I'm going to give you my updated marshmallow fondant recipe. Hi, it's Karolyn. I'm a professional cake decorator, and on this channel I share my tips and tricks and ways that I bake and decorate cakes to help you along your journey. So if you'd like to join me, hit subscribe and the bell so you can get notified whenever I release a new video. So I am making marshmallow fondant, and it's no secret. It's one of the things I like doing least with cake decorating, just because it gets a little messy. But anyway, I love marshmallow fondant because it tastes great and it's very cost effective to make it yourself. It takes about, I don't know, 5 minutes to make a batch of fondant, and it costs about $2.15 or so to $2.50 to make a pound of it, whereas you go to the store and it's a lot more expensive, and it tastes good. So recently I've been having this most annoying issue where I get these little sugar balls in my fondant. I took a picture of it the other day. I'm going to put it here. How annoying is that when you're working with fondant and you get these little hard sugar knots in there, these sugar pimples that you have to pick out? So I'm going to show you the process that I now do to help avoid that from happening. And just a reminder that my birthday cake design blueprint is linked in the description below. So let's get into the video. All right, to make this, we are going to need some marshmallows. I prefer to use the bigger marshmallows. It doesn't matter what brand. This is a 10-ounce bag, and I'd like to use between like 11 and 12 ounces. I just eyeball it, but you can measure it exactly if you want. A 2-pound bag of powdered sugar. This is 907 grams. It's 10x confectioner sugar. Some light corn syrup. Some shortening and cornstarch to help prevent it from sticking. And some Tylose powder. I put Tylose powder in all of my fondant. It helps the fondant. It just makes it easier to work with. And you're also going to need a glass bowl and a little bit of water. I just have it in this cup. This is about 1.5 ounces of water. I might not use all of it. It's just a tiny bit of water. This is room temperature water. So to help prevent everything from sticking, I'm just going to take a little bit of the shortening on a paper towel. You're going to want to use your dough hook attachment to your mixer for this. I'm going to grease the inside of the bowl and also the dough hook. Just the bottom part and the hook of the dough hook. And I also want to grease the bowl that I'm putting the marshmallows in. So to start, I'm going to add the entire 10-ounce bag of marshmallows to the bowl. And then I'm just going to open another bag. And here's a little tip for you. Save this little strip, and I'm going to pour just a little bit in there. Right? So that's not even that much of the other one. And then if you could save this top piece, twist, and then just use that to tie this bag shut. And I eyeball everything, but you can measure it out again if you would like. For the cornstarch, I'm going to add about a tablespoon. The cornstarch is going to help it be able to stretch. So I'm just going to add about a tablespoon. And again, you can measure it if you want. And I always like to just wipe it clean because corn syrup stinking. Oh, did I say cornstarch? It's corn syrup. Corn syrup, not cornstarch. A tablespoon of corn syrup, and I have about 1 ounce of water. Well, I had about 1.5 ounces in here, and I added 1 ounce of water to the bowl. And now I'm going to pop this in the microwave for 1 minute 45 seconds to melt. While the marshmallows are melting in the microwave, I like to sift the sugar now. This helps get all those stinking lumps out. So I have a big bowl and a small sifter here, or a strain that I use to sift the sugar. I can link this below. It comes in a set of 3. And I just do it a little bit at a time. And this is where sugar can get all over your kitchen. But it gets rid of those stinking lumps. So I just fill the sifter a little bit and then just shake back and forth. And see all these little clumps? It helps get those clumps out, and just do that for the whole bag. And now this is a coffee scoop. I use it as it's about a tablespoon So I use it whenever I need a tablespoon of liquid. Now I'm going to add a tablespoon of just water to the bottom of the bowl. I find if I do that, then the sugar is not going to all stick to the bottom of the bowl. Makes my life a little easier. And this gets a little messy, so I like to take a big spoon and just start to spoon about 3/4 of the entire bag of sugar into this bowl. If I just pour the bowl into the other bowl, it creates a huge sugar cloud, and I'm just trying to avoid getting sugar all over my kitchen. And now I have my marshmallows just out of the microwave. I like to mix it in the sink in case it spills, and just taking a spatula or whatever and mixing it together. Now, if you were going to add coloring, now is the time that I usually do it. If I'm dyeing an entire batch, usually I do that when I make black. If I'm making black fondant, I use a lot of coloring. I would squeeze a whole bunch in there, make sure that the melted marshmallow is a dark black, not just a gray. It needs to be dark black. If you're doing a light blue, you'll only need like 3 drops of blue. You know, if you're doing a red, you need a lot of red. So depending on the color, I usually don't make entire batches of fondant a specific color. Usually I'll break pieces off and dye it. But with black, that's what I do to make black fondant. But I'm just going to do white. So now I want to add this to the bowl with the powdered sugar. And then I'll take the powdered sugar that's left in the bowl, and I'm going to put almost all of that on top. I'm going to save just a little bit to add after it's mixed. I'm going to lock it so it stays in place, and I'm going to place this towel on top to cover it so my whole kitchen, again, doesn't have a big sugar cloud all over it. So turning this on and letting it mix until I hear the mixer start bumping up and down, I know that's when it's coming together. And now you can hear the mixer moving, so you know it's starting to come together. Now as I look inside, this looks pretty good. There is some sticking to the side. Now this does look a little bit chunky. It does need a little bit more sugar added because it is a little sticky. It's not holding together in a ball. So I'm just going to take the rest of the sugar in here, and this is not that much where it won't make a big cloud. I'm going to add the rest and then cover it again with the towel. And I did just put it on the lowest setting, that way the sugar didn't get everywhere. So just the lowest setting out of 10. And let's take a look. So can you see now how it's holding together? Whereas before it was still sticky and looked really gooey. Now it's like it's holding itself together in a ball basically, and that's when you know that it looks really good. So if you happen to add all of the sugar and it still looks really sticky and chunky like it did that first time, you're just going to want to sift a little bit more sugar and add more sugar. If you find that it's too dry and it's falling apart and it's not holding together, you need to add a little bit more water, and that looks good. So now I just want to get some Crisco on the countertop and on my hands. I just washed my hands before I started this process. You want to work with clean hands. And I can remove this entire batch from the bowl. And now I just want to knead this together a few times. And this is a little cornstarch I'm going to sprinkle down, which also helps prevent it from sticking. Use cornstarch, not powdered sugar. Powdered sugar will make everything sticky. And I'm going to add a teeny bit of Tylose powder. This is about 1/4 teaspoon on the entire thing, and just knead all of that together as well. And here's your beautiful marshmallow fondant. So what I like to do is you can actually put a little bit of Crisco down on the counter and then just roll it in the Crisco. I'm trying to get all sides covered. And here I have this 18-inch long roll of plastic wrap. I'm just going to put it down on the plastic wrap and cut a piece off. Wrap it up. So here you go. Here's our marshmallow fondant, all made, wrapped up, and ready to be used. It's still really soft. I make the fondant the day before I need it at least, and I store it in these airtight containers. This is just my fondant bin. I go through a lot of it, so I don't need to ever freeze it or save it for longer than a week or so because I go through so much of it. So what I do, I just keep it wrapped in the plastic wrap in this container with the lid on top, sitting out at room temperature, and I will go through all of this in about a week or so. If you are making fondant that you are not going to use within 2 weeks, you're going to want to wrap it up a little better. So I would double or triple wrap it in this plastic wrap, put it in a Ziploc bag, and then you can put it back in this container and make sure that it is completely sealed in that shortening before you wrap it up, which will help prevent it from drying out. And if you need to, if you made too much and you're not going to use it for a while, you can pop it in the freezer. However, I've never done that. I've heard that people do it, but I've never done that personally. But you can freeze fondant as well if you would like. Now, my addition of Tylose powder to the entire batch of the fondant is something new that I've been doing. It sets up in the fondant while it's cooling, and that way I don't have to add as much Tylose powder when I break pieces off to make decorations. And if you've seen any of my other videos, you know I love me some Tylose powder, and I use it in everything. So the Tylose powder is going to help the fondant set hard. Not hard, but depending on how much that you add. I'm actually going to link a video above or below or both, and it will show you how I get fondant to a workable consistency, because a lot of times when you just make it, you can't use it right away because it's going to be too sticky or stretchy and it's not going to work. So I will link that video showing you on how to prepare your fondant to get it ready to be used. So I think that is it. Did I want to say something else? I think that's it. If you have any questions or comments, leave them below. And you can follow me on my socials. I am on TikTok, but I'm not, but I am, and I don't know. I'm trying to do YouTube. I haven't gotten too much into TikTok yet. But I have everything linked below as well. And if you want to stick around, you can watch these 2 videos next and hit the subscribe button and the bell if you haven't already. Please like this video if you liked it. Thank you so much for watching, and remember, it's cake. Have fun. I will see you on the next one. Bye.